Hello everyone, good morning. Well, it's morning here in Australia and it's 10 a.m. in Queensland, 11 a.m. in most of the other states. Just check my phone to see if I've gone live. Only be a minute. Just trying to scroll and refresh. Doesn't always come up straight away. Hope everyone's had a lovely week. Doesn't seem to want to come up this morning. There we go. All good. We have one comment already. Good morning, Amanda. Lovely to have you on. Just checking my phone to make sure I'm live. I'll just zoom in a tiny bit. I think I adjusted it to start with. Not sure if that's working or not. I'll just put my hands up here and that way I'll know if it's working. I'll go back a bit. I know I'm here, I can see it. But it's not seeming to go through. There we go, all good. Good morning, Nerida. I'm going to try and start a little bit earlier today because we've got a bit to go through. I might just zoom in a fraction there. Not too far, otherwise we end up too close and it gets blurry. That's better. Good morning, both of you, so far. Hope a few more are coming on. I'll just wait a few minutes and I'll show you what we're going to do. It's a little bit more involved this morning, so hopefully. Good morning, Beth. You found me right this time. You got the time right. I'm not sure what you did last week. I did see your comment. Not too many on just yet, but we will wait just a minute or so. But I will get started earlier and I'll show you. I'm just going to explain the sizes of the pieces as we go instead of going through the whole thing at the beginning. Good morning, Janice from Florida. Nice to have you on. And good morning, Dorothy Austin. Got a few on now. Good morning, Robin. I think you commented earlier on my post. Good morning, Christine. Two Christines, Connolly and Plasek. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Nice to have you on. I'm going to get started fairly quickly. I won't do all my usual big intro. That's okay, Beth. You found it this time. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's me or Facebook. Facebook has a tendency to change things around and then you've got to spend time trying to work it out again. It's not very friendly sometimes. Yes, my name's Laura Stranks. I think most of you would know that by now. I'm admin for this group. Good morning, Alice from Ontario. Looking forward to see what you have planned for today. This is very exciting for me because I've never ever done this before and I've decided to do a box with it. So it might take a little bit longer today, but I'll try and be quick. If you can't keep up, just come back and watch the replay. I'll pin the replay to the featured tab and the PDF with all the measurements and all the instructions as well as some photos in the PDF in the files tab, so you can go back there and re-watch it if you like. I've also got a birthday party to go to this afternoon about 2 o'clock, so it's my daughter. My daughter turned 50 last January and she had just a family get together for that and only about 20 of us. So she decided to have a big 50th now. She's not 50 till Monday. So she's having what she called a 50+1 because she's 51 on Monday. So this is her big party that she's doing it at home, just having nibbles for afternoon tea and then some pizzas for dinner, and about 50 people coming. So I'm off to that this afternoon. Should be a fun time. Right, we will get started. I'm sure people will catch up later if they want to. So this is what I'm doing. This is the box I did, and you do need a box for this card because it's quite thick. And I'll just show you the card. This is the card that I made. It's got this fan on the front. I do love this paper. I've put a fairly subtle sort of background on it so the fan sits up nicely. Then it sits up like so with your easel. Very simple to make the easel section and this fan section. A little bit involved with the box because I did do a reinforced lid, which I like to do reinforced. If I do a box that's got a reinforced lid, I try and keep it down to a smaller box. The bigger ones you can't do that because you have to get bigger paper, bigger cardstock to make a bigger box to reinforce it. But I'll explain all that when we get to it. So I'll just leave that there. Thanks, Beth. I hope you enjoy it. The one I'm doing today, it's a little bit more subtle than this, but I think it will still look amazing. I hope so. We will get started. Now, I'm going to do the fan piece first. I'll tell you the measurements. Actually, I'll put the measurements here for you if anyone wants to take a screenshot. These measurements I did put up through the week. I'm not sure if I've pinned them. I will pin them to the featured tab. This post went up on Tuesday, I think it was. Thanks, Christine. So if you want to take a screenshot now, that's okay, but it will be in the files tab in the PDF with all the measurements. So I'm not going to go through all of that again. It will save us quite a bit of time. I'll just mention the measurements as we go, a little bit different. So this is my fan DSP patterned paper. It's 10 by 5. So I'll just leave that aside, and you'll need your trimmer. And I shall make sure that I get all my measurements right from the start. So I'm scoring this at every 1/2 inch. Now, this is not real. I'll show you the paper actually. This is an online exclusive. It's called Serene Love, and it's just in 3 colours. There's the blue, Night of Navy, Lost Lagoon, and Old Olive. And there's a few different patterns on each. I love the blue, but I like the pattern on the green. So the background papers are different to the fronts. The fronts are pretty much similar, like those. That one's a bit different. And then it's got spots at the back. So they're all different patterns. That one there, that's the Old Olive. I wanted to use the blue, but I wasn't fussed on the backgrounds of the blues. I love the front of the blue, what I call the front. I always call the front the nicer side for me. So that's the paper, and there's ribbon in the online exclusives as well. It's called Lost Lagoon Soft Cording. It's on the online exclusives as well, just a bit further down from where you find the paper. This is in Lost Lagoon, so it matches the DSP that I've used today. Now, this is in 1/2 inch. So I'm going to start at this side. No, actually, we'll go this way. It's not really directional, this paper. It's sort of patterned all over the place. If you do use directional paper, you can still score it the same way, but you need to watch when you do your fan. Good morning, Carol Shannon. Gorgeous, thank you. Yes, Christine, I do like the paper. I've ordered another pack as well. I use that ribbon all the time. It's a little bit slippery for bows, but I've worked it out. It's not too bad if we put a glue dot at the back. So I'm just scoring this across. I'm doing the fan first because it takes a little while for when I put the glue on the bottom, you'll see what I mean. I'm going to clip it. And it takes a little while to get it to take and set. So I'll get this out of the road. Just make sure I'm doing all of these at 1/2 inch all the way across. This is the easy part. I could have done this to start with, but I thought I'll just show you. When you're scoring paper, patterned paper or designer series paper as I call it, make sure you don't press too heavily on your scorer, otherwise you'll tear it, and you don't want that. It's really hard to see the score lines on this. I'll make sure yep, I'm still right. So it's 10 inches long, and I'm just going across, all the way across at 1/2 inch. I think if you want to do wider ones, it will just make, I think the 1/2 inch makes it look really nice for the fan, but you could do 3/4 inch ones if you want. I think 1 inch would be too wide. We had a stinking hot day yesterday. It was 37 here. It felt hotter, but it was 37 degrees Celsius, and it was absolutely horrible. I ended up putting the aircon on. I avoided it most of the day, although I was in my craft room with the aircon on, but the main house one, I left it off until the afternoon, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. So now we're going to fold this. I started with the back side because I want this as my front side. I'm going to start with the back side and just start with a fold upwards like that, and just keep flipping it all the way across. Flip and fold and burnish all the way across. This creates your fan. And I've used this, I've done this without hot glue. A lot of people don't have a hot glue gun. Actually, we have a store here in, well, it's in Australia, that is Spotlight, it's called, and they've got a sale on at the moment for all their craft stuff, 30% off. So I went browsing last night and I found a hot glue gun. I have got a little one here, but it's very, very old and it's not so good anymore. It sort of still works. But they had a cordless one. It goes onto a charger. It was reduced from $40 down to $28. So I've ordered one and I'm going to collect it on the way out this afternoon, because I was thinking of getting in, and it's a little bit bigger than the one I've got, which is good. So I've got a real tiny one. It was just a cheapy one I bought probably about 10 years ago at least. Hi, Corinne. That's okay, Lena. You can go back. I've only not long started. This is just the, I'm trying to get these score lines straight. That one didn't go so straight. It's really hard to see the score lines, but I know I did them on the 1/2 inch all the way. I'll just fix that one a little bit. Probably wouldn't show if I'm burnishing as I go, so it's all nicely creased. And the last one. So that's our fan, which will open up like so. Now what I'm going to do, so I don't have to use a glue gun, a hot glue gun, which this works just as well, so long as you put a fair bit of glue on one end. If it's directional paper, make sure you've got your pinched end down the bottom here and your direction up that way. And then I'm just going to put some glue down on one side of each of these. I know I missed the score line there a little bit, but it's not too bad. I'll just fix that up a little bit. That's better. It's hard to see the score lines on this. So I'm just putting glue down the bottom on one side of each of those, just in that bottom section there. I hope you can all see where I'm going. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same just on that side, so that both sides are going to stick down. And I'm going to put a clip on the end of this so it will sit down and hold. So just pinch that all back together like so. Some of my score lines are not very straight, but you won't notice them. And then I have got just one of these little bulldog clips, and I'm going to stick that on there and give it a chance to dry while I do something else. We'll start on the actual card base now. I wish I'd have scored that a little bit better, but it'll be okay. So just put that aside with your clip on the bottom. Any sort of clip would do. Now we've got the card itself. So this is the base, and that's all my decorations. And the base is 10 inches by 5 inches, which is the same as that piece of DSP that we just scored. Good morning, Carmel. Nice to have you on. And we're scoring this at, excuse me, 5 inches. So the card ends up 5 by 5, but I made the box to go in about 5 1/4 because I've got to allow for a little bit of extra width where the bits and pieces hang over on some of it. So we'll put that aside. And then this is my pieces. Now I'm going to put this bit of a sort of subtle background. I don't want that. That's the back side of that. So if you can pick something a little bit more not so busy, that's the mat and the so the mat is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I've got 2 of those, one for inside and one for the front. And then the DSP on that is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and then the white is not that one. The white is 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. So we'll do all those. They can all go on. That's going on there. I'll just get my silicone mat. Put some glue around this. So it's just a standard card base. Well, not standard. It's 5 by 5. Not an unusual length. So that one will go on there. And this one will go on here. I was going to put butterflies all over this, but I changed my mind. Just fussy cut some of the flowers out of the paper. They're quite easy to fussy cut because they've got reasonably straight lines. So that's the front. These are all going at the front. Once I get I'll show you those bits in a minute. We can do the inside as well, which is this one, and my white piece, which is that one. And I've just fussy cut a single flower. I'm going to put that up in the corner. Actually, I'm going to put it in this corner because, as you can see, I've got a stopper. That's the front of the other. I think, hang on, that's going on the lid. I don't think that's going up there. I didn't do a stopper for my base, but we'll work that out in a minute. I'll just cut a piece for now. I could do, actually, I'll put that as my stopper in a minute, and we'll just stick this in, and then I'll fussy cut another flower and put underneath, but I'll do that later on. That will go in there. Normally I put the white on first, so that will go in there. And then the white. You could stamp a greeting on this. The other one, I'll show you in a minute. I put this strip of DSP, but as you can see, it sort of comes out here. It doesn't look too bad, but I didn't want to see that. So this was going to go up here in the corner, which I will cut another one because I do need one for my stopper. I know I forgot to do. I've got another piece. That piece. This should have been scored. Where do we score this now? Which we forgot to do. And I have done that wrong. That shouldn't have gone on the front. I bet I can't get it up. No. I'm going to start that bit again. I've mucked it up already. Hang on 5 seconds. We can cut that other piece. That's me trying to rush. We'll cut this piece again. Don't put that front piece on, it goes on the other part. We'll try this again. Slow down, Laura, because that's when you make mistakes. I've done a few of these and it's 10 by 5, scored at 5. I'm going to cut that other one off so it goes back on here. Now this is going to be scored from the top left to the bottom, top right to the bottom left is a score across here. That's on the front section of the card only. So that's here, top right to bottom, down from the top right point down to the crossover where your center score line is. You're going to score that. It's a wonder someone didn't sing out and say, hey, that's wrong. But we'll fix it really quickly. So that goes like so. And I'm just going to cut this off. Watch me. This is how you fix an oops. Good evening, Peggy. Diane Kirby, good morning. I'm just fixing this because I did it wrong. I'm just going to cut this off. This is my old one, so don't just ignore what I'm doing. I don't want to cut a whole new piece of DSP, so I'm going to cut this up. And I'll put this is my mat that goes on the front. I'll show you in a minute. We don't have to waste anything. I'll take that bit off there. That was my original base. So don't take any notice of that first section. I'll just trim that little bit there because you can see. Right, we still need that piece there. So going back to this piece, just pretend I didn't put that on there. So that was the mat and the DSP on the top. This is going to sit like that on there. And it's got the little 1/8 inch border all the way around. So if you put your glue on this piece here, on the angled cut, like so, and not how I showed you at the beginning, just fast forward through that first bit, and that will sit on there. Just leave a 1/8 inch border. And that point there goes to that point, and that point there follows that score line to there. Stick that down. Now we're on track. And that sits up like so. All good. And then I'm going to cut this. I might just freehand cut it. I think it'll be easier than... I'm just cutting up that original. So all we did was waste that first base. Just cutting that edge off that. This will still be the inside. I hope everyone's following. Go back and see the oops I did at the beginning. That's rushing, trying to not take too long to do this. So that will be on the inside, like so. Then when that sits up, you'll see, I was going to put this flower up in there, but I haven't done a stopper. So I'm going to use that as my stopper at the front. So I'll glue that in. I will cut another flower to put up the top there. And I explained before, I did do a strip of DSP. I'll put this in, I'll show you. I did put a strip of DSP across this one, but I didn't like how it showed at the back here. So I'm going to just put a flower up in that top corner. I'll fussy cut another one, but I did forget to cut a stopper for this. It sits on a circle on there, like so. We'll do that piece in a minute. Good morning, Barbara. And good, Peggy, I've said good morning. Figured it out. Thanks for helping me find your videos. Good morning, Joan. That's okay. Now we shall do the fan. It should be enough, dried enough. Now this is going to sit down in this bottom corner. Don't worry that it hangs over the edges a little bit. It goes right into this bottom corner. And so you don't have to use hot glue. I'm just using normal glue. And I'm going to put it down the bottom here. And we're going to sit something on top while we go ahead. We might even start the box. So all I'm doing is putting a heap of glue. And don't be afraid to be generous with it, because you need it to stick. So I've put a heap of glue down the bottom here, and even up a little bit onto the open section. Lots of glue on there. Lay it down flat and pop it down into that corner. Don't overhang it in this corner, like so. We won't move it just yet. Now I've got this 1.5 inch circle punch. I'll show you what I'm doing with that after with the other bits as well. That I'm going to sit on there. Whoops. It's got plenty of glue there to hold it, but we don't want to. I'm just going to put it aside with that punch on top for now to let it set. And then we'll go ahead and do the others. Now this stopper, I did have another circle. We'll cut one out of that other bit later, because this circle is for the top. Oh no, we've got one for the top. That goes on the fan. We'll leave that one. I'll need another. I'll get a smaller punch. A 1 inch should be big enough. I'll just get a piece of white cardstock. Sounds like my neighbour is doing some work outside in his shed, which is right outside my window. Good morning, Dell. And good morning, Lorraine. Early evening. You must be in the US. It's early evening. So I just need a little 1 inch circle to go behind my stopper, like so. And I'm going to sit that up on dimensionals. So I'll glue that to the back. I'm going to leave that fan sit for a little while. Just poke that on the top of that. And it's going to sit down here to hold up my fan. But we'll leave that. We can put some dimensionals on the back of it while we're waiting. And we'll go on to the box. I know it's a bit all over the place. Normally you could just walk away and let it sit. But, so we're not just sitting here waiting. We'll start the box. So I've got that all ready to go. This is going up at the bottom of the fan, and I've got a circle to put on the back, and my little just for you is sitting out, same as this one here, but instead of that bow I've got this to go on, and that will go out the side. I shall put that, this is the 1.5 inch circle. You could even just cut a little square of cardstock to put at the back. It just gives you a level surface to put your paper on. So we'll leave all that ready for after, and that piece, and we shall get on to the box. We'll get back to the card in a minute. 1:30 a.m. in Norway. You're up late, Carol. I think I'd be sound asleep by now. You can watch the replay. I'll pin it to the featured tab later today. British Columbia, Canada. Lovely. Yes, Del, I'm hoping it turns out okay. So, we'll do the base first. That's the easy bit. It measures 7 3/4, which I've got on here. Box base 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and I've got remove a smidge off 2 adjoining sides. Now this is always how I do my, I'll put that back over there, and I'll get my trimmer, and I'll show you what I mean. So that your lid fits on your base comfortably without being too tight. If you have your base the same size, it's going to be too tight to come over the top of your base. So what I do, I work out my measurements. So I want 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and then I've allowed, I think I allowed 1 1/4. Where's that sticky note? I haven't got it on there. Hang on. I think it's 1 1/4 my sides. I'll show you. I'll get back to this. Box base 7 3/4. Yes, 1 1/4. So I've added 1 1/4 on each side. So you'll need 5 1/4 plus 1 1/4 plus 1 1/4. And that will give you 7 3/4. But then I'll measure this because I haven't cut the smidge off yet. I wanted to show you. That's 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. It's square. Now my smidge, it's just going, if you've got a trimmer, it's just this 1/16 mark there. I'm going to cut it off 2 sides. One side, any 2 adjoining sides, and 1/16 off there before you do any scoring, because you want your scoring exactly the same as where it should be, but you want that off first. So that will make it that much smaller to fit your lid on it, if that makes sense. And then you're going to score at, which I put away, 1 1/4. Yes, 1 1/4 on all 4 sides. So that's there. This is the easy part. And I know I didn't get my roll of tear and tape out. I'll get that in a sec. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. And 1 1/4. So that's on all 4 sides after you've taken that smidge off. Don't score before and then take it off. It doesn't work. Then, with my snips, I'm going to cut up, and I do it this way every time. Oh, we can fold those first. It gives you, you can see your lines a bit better if you do it this way. Fold and burnish those. Now you're going to cut up each corner, that corner there, and just a smidge out on an angle. So you're notching that. I'll just get my little scrap dish here, and on this side, just as fine slither up to an angle as a notch. And I have got photos in the PDF for this part. So up this side, don't go to this one and cut it out. Years ago, I had a lady that she cut up there and cut up there and removed the entire corner section. And I said, oops, you might need to start that again. Then turn it around 180 degrees so your cuts are on that side, and go up there. I know you can do this corner and then this corner, that corner, that corner. but I prefer it this way, rotating it 180 and then doing this. Excuse me getting my scraps everywhere. I like a little dish there to put my scraps in as I go, like so, up that score line and notch. So that's all my 4 corners. Now I'm just going to get a roll of tearing tape out, which I know I've got one here handy, a new one, because I did finish the other one the other day and forgot to get another one out. This is Stampin' Up! Tearing tape. I did try a while ago some tearing tape from a cheapy shop, and I found it did not stick. It kept coming apart. So we're going back to Stampin' Up! Tearing tape. Now you want, and I'll show you my other little trick with my, I've taken the top off my liquid glue. That's just Tombow liquid glue, multi-purpose adhesive glue. And I'm going to put that, I'm right-handed, so I've got my roll of tape in my right hand, and this lid, I just put it to the end of that and tear it off. I'm going to put 3 little pieces on each. This is quicker than picking your scissors up and down. You just give it a little flick. It does take a little while to get used to doing this, but it's all I ever do now, especially if I've got a lot of pieces to do. If it's only 1 or 2, I just cut it. I don't think I've ever torn tearing tape. It's just not me. I like to have a nice clean cut. Well, this is pretty much tearing it anyway, but you've got something. And my fingernail, I've tried my fingernail and it tears it all crooked anyway. I'm a little bit fussy, as you call it. So I've got 3 pieces on each of those. This is the easy part of the box. And I'm going to burnish all these. I did see a lady the other day where she couldn't get the top layer off. The bottom layer kept lifting. And she said, oh, just push it down on the ends. But I burnished the whole piece of tearing tape. That way you know the sticky bit's going to stick down. And a pick tool. Good morning, Kerry. Nice to have you on. And Carol, oh, Carol has said hello. And then I'm taking off the backs off 2 ends. We can complete the whole box before we go back to the card. So we've got that one. They just tuck in under, and because you've notched, they fit comfortably inside there without catching. And then take these off. You could take all 4 off at once. I just worry that it's going to catch on something else while I'm putting one side together. You see, by burnishing that tearing tape, it's pretty much stuck down. So that lines, it goes parallel with that other side edge, like so. And that's the base of your box. And I'll show you putting this card in. It fits in comfortably in there. I'm not going to have the bow on the next one, or not as big a bow. So that's the base. Now the lid, I shall show you. It's pretty much the same, but it's reinforced. And I'll explain what I've already done the scoring on this. You don't cut anything off it, any smidge off, before you score. But I want, so it's 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, but I want I'm going to, as you can see on this one, I'll just show you the size. That top piece there is 3/4 of an inch. That way you can see your base and your top. But there's also a piece down in under here, which makes it reinforced, but it's only 1/2 inch in there. So you've got 3/4 of an inch plus 1/2 inch plus 5 1/4, and then the same on this side, 3/4 and 1/2 inch. So you need to add all those measurements together. to create the size of your card. So you've got 2 3/4, which is 1 1/2, 2 1/2 inches, that's 2 1/2, plus 5 1/4, that's 7 3/4. So it ends up the same size as the lid, but you've got the extra piece here folded in under. And I have scored all that, but I'll show you how to score. So you're doing it 1/2 inch. We'll go from this side. So your 1/2 inch piece that's going to get tucked down inside, that's on the outside. And then another 3/4 inch takes it to 1 1/4. And you're scoring that. So 1/2 inch and 1 1/4 all the way around. 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. That gives you the 1/2 inch tucking it fold over piece plus the 3/4 for the side. And that's how you do a reinforced lid. Just do all your measurements first. Do yourself a dummy box first as well, just for some scrap card. 1 1/4. And then the cutting is a little bit different, not much. Good morning, Michelle from Adelaide, South Australia. Nice to have you on. So I'll fold and burnish those score lines as well, so it's easier to see. You can do the burnishing after you've cut, but I find it easier. This way you can see your score lines a bit better. Plus when you cut your corners, you've got extra little bits to fold inwards. So it's 1/2 and 3/4, 1/2 and 1 1/4 score on all 4 sides. And that's that. Now I'll show you, just need a pencil. We're going to remove the 3 outside sections. So there's a little rectangle there and a little square in the corner. So I want to remove all 3 corners. You can mark these so you make sure you get them right. So it's the 3 outside sections in the corners. So the way to do that, so you're getting rid of both of those pieces, cut up that score line, cut up this score line, and remove that section and the little bottom piece of that section. That creates a tab. Now you want to notch this tab there and there. And then I'm going to notch just this outside section here because it helps you fit it in. So there's 3 notches there, like so. And you end up with that. Now we'll do this one. We go up the score line. Same as the base. You're going from there across to here, up there. Remove that, and I can notch as I go. If you notch that as you go, saves you coming back later. Cut off that last bottom little square there. If you mark them with your crosses, then it's quite obvious which ones you're going to take off. And then notch the little tab. Always notch. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, you notch a tab. 180 degrees around. Up that score line to that second score line. Remove that with the notch as well. Remove this bottom section. Notch this side here. And notch your tab. And the last one over here, up and up. Remove the 2 crosses there and half that there. I did do a video a while ago, last year, that showed how to do different types of boxes and how you measure. So if you go back through the featured tab, you'll find it pinned in the featured tab, all about boxes, how you prepare your boxes and measuring and everything. So that's the base, the lid I should say. So we're going to put some tearing tape again, and the lid of my glue. Hello from Bargara. I know where Bargara is. It's up near Harvey Bay. I'm pretty sure it is. Tina, good morning. Love the colours. Yes, I'm not normally a green person. I like blues, but I do like this paper. So I chose this paper. Now we're doing just the tabs on this side. And I'm just going to put 2 little bits of tearing tape on there. This colour is Lost Lagoon, which is one of the subtle colours in the subtle family for Stampin' Up. One of my favourite greens actually. If I have to like green, I like this one. I don't mind Pretty Peacock as well, which is that colour there. They go nicely together. It seems the Lost Lagoon is like a subtle colour of the Pretty Peacock. They coordinate together. And we shall burnish those with our bone folder. Nice and firm. And now flip it over, and these outside edge bits are going to get glued inside. So we want a strip of tearing tape. You could put liquid glue here, but I like the tearing tape just to hold it all together. But you can use liquid glue on your tabs as well, but I find you've got to hold it for a while to get it to stick. Plus this is a lot more stronger using tearing tape on a box. I tend to use tearing tape on all my boxes. Very rarely I use liquid glue. I just thought boxes should be stuck together nicely. Now we'll burnish those as well. Put those on before you start and put the box together. And I shall also decorate the lid while we're at it. Now these are the pieces. I find it's easier to do while it's flat. Excuse me. I'm still going to put this more versatile pattern on top. Liquid glue. Yes, it's early morning for you, Anne. Good morning from West England. I've been to England. We stayed in Liverpool, I think it was. This is a long, long time ago. We were there for squash, playing squash. Went all the way up to Scotland in the train and back again. Had a few days in London. So all of that is just going flat. These were the same sizes as the mats and the DSP on the front of the card. You will see in the PDF the sizes. So that's that. Now I've fussy cut one big flower for here, and I've also got these. The dies I used for all of my circles are I'll think of it in a sec. If I just open my Stylish Shapes circles, that's those. 2 different sizes, that's those 2. This one's just 1.5 inch circle punch. That's going at the back of the flower. And I've got a little bud that I've fussy cut for that one as well. My greeting that's going on my card is the Stylish Shapes banners as well. And that's that one there. We'll get to those in a minute. So this here, just to give it a little bit of a base behind my flower, I often put another circle behind. So it just gives you something to work on, and it's a little bit thicker to hold it up. I'll just put that at the back of that. And that is going up there, up on dimensionals. Actually, I won't put that on until we put the box together. And the same with this. I'm going to put this one flat, the greeting part. The greeting, this one, I'll stick that down first. And that's the beauty of doing a circle as well for your greetings, it doesn't, you can't get it crooked, because no matter which way you turn it, it's going to be straight in the end. If you do a rectangle, you can, or rectangle or square, you can notice it if you've stamped it crooked. So just stamp it on a square piece of cardstock, and then die cut with your circle, and then you just turn it so it is straight. So good for beginners if you want to do a straight greeting. Use the circle. I've taken that one out of Wishing You a Beautiful Birthday, out of the sketched butterflies, and the Just For You is out of that one there, labelled with love. That's all the pieces I used. Now we'll put this, I was going to put it under there, so I'll just lift that a little bit, put a little bit more glue in there, pop that down in there. And then I'll put the dimensionals on the back of that, and we'll do the flower as well. If we get all this done, I'm sure that glue will be set for the card. You're probably wondering, those that come in later probably wondering, where's the card that she did? We're just waiting for some glue to set. I won't do those just yet. That's going down there. This is going up here on dimensionals. I'm always generous with my dimensionals. I don't like to spend all that time doing a card and then having it. I'll put some out there as well, just to hold up the outsides. They're probably thinking, how many more is she going to use? But I do like it to sit up properly, so that will sit up there. Now we can put this together. Take the backs off these. We'll take them off, all of them, to start. My little cup, I've always used a little cup, a little dish for my scraps as I go. It saves so much cleaning up. I'm not a messy crafter, I'm afraid. I do make a mess sometimes when I clean up after every project I do. These are just swinging around to form the main part of the box. Tuck them all in. Make sure they're parallel down that edge. On that side, nice and neat. Flip these backwards. Carol, good morning, Carol. Bit late, got distracted in the garden. Yesterday I was going to do a little bit of gardening yesterday, but it was 37 degrees outside, so Laura spent the day in the craft. I did my housework first. Always do housework on a Friday morning, but it was so hot to go outside, so I didn't. We've just redone, and I'll show some pictures later once it's all finished. We've redone one of our front gardens. We took out 4 big bushy, a couple of hibiscus and a couple of others. We took them out and we've done a rock garden. It's going to have conifers in it. So these will just fold inwards. I'll show you photos of the garden when it's finished. We're still waiting on the plants to come. I thought they would have come yesterday, but they didn't. So it'll probably be Tuesday now, because Monday's a public holiday for Australia Day. So I don't think we will get them on Monday. But that's okay. The garden's all ready to put them in. So that's that. And that gives you your reinforced. It's nice and strong around the edges. And it will fit comfortably without bulking over the top, because you took that smidge off the base to start with. It fits nice without, if I hadn't have taken that off, it would have been so tight and all these would have bulged inwards on your base. So that's that. Now we can finish that off. We'll put this up in the corner. Take the backs off these. Yes, my little dish, it just saves you throwing your bits and pieces all over the desk, if you're a tidy crafter like I am. And then it's just easy to tip it up and put it in the bin. without having to pick up all the little bits again. It's just double handling. To me it is. So we shall put that up in that top corner and this in the bottom corner, and that's the box done. I shall put some embellishments on it. I didn't get any out, but I'll find something. Might just put rhinestones on it. I've got gold on the other one, so this one can be something different. And as I mentioned with the circle, just get it straight here and you can't go wrong. So do your greetings on a circle if you're not confident getting your greetings straight. So that will go on there. And now we shall attempt to finish our card, which you'll see that's nicely stuck down there. I put lots of glue in there. This just stays free. I don't stick it down. You could stick those ends down if you wish, but I don't think it needs it. And it's just inside, when you spread it a little bit, it's just inside the perimeter of the card. So it won't take long to finish this. We've got these, which I'm going to put down here. And as you can see, they're going to hang over a little bit. I'm just debating whether to use that bow. I want to put that up there. And it won't sit up on dimensionals with this because it's high enough. I'll put that up there. And the bow, I might put the bow down there. I'll cut the ends off. I'll just tighten that. As I said before, this ribbon is a little bit slippery and it doesn't sort of tighten really well. It's tight now. I'll put a glue dot at the back of it. I did the bow on my bow maker. That's a bit odd there. But we'll put that down the bottom. This here, I'm going to just put glue, goes nicely that way. And I'm just going to straddle some glue on the tops of these. The ladies that joined me late, if you go back and watch the beginning, this is where we did this part of the card. I just needed time for it to set and dry. I'll put a little bit on here as well. It's not going to matter. Pop that on there. Make sure I can go up a bit higher with my glue. Just putting some bits along the top edges of those to hold this flower. I fussy cut the flowers. Easy to fussy cut out of this paper. So that will go there. I've tried to keep it pretty much inside, but the box is 1/4 of an inch bigger, so you've got plenty of room. And then this I shall put on here. I'll put it on with a glue dot because they're much stronger than just the glue. Ribbon and glue, liquid glue, don't really go together. I find glue dots are better. I'll put that in there. That's pretty good. I shall snip off these ends a little bit. They'll tuck down inside the box anyway. So that's that. Now our stopper will go about here. That will sit nicely there and hold it up. We've already put our dimensionals on the back. So just sit that up at the angle you want it to sit. And I'm going to put that way. Actually, I might go this way because I want the flower to show, not the leaves. So long as you've got a bit of a flat edge there to use it as a stopper. Like so. I'm going to cut another flower because that flower, I forgot to do my stopper. So that flower was going up here, which I will cut another one. I might even just cut a bud and put up in that top corner. That's there. And then my greeting, I'm just going to pop in along there. If I can get it to stick to something. Actually, I might go there. We can put a some liquid glue, because this is a flat edge here. I can stick it along that one. Pop it in there. I've left it so you've got a blank, more of a blank spot on one end, on your right hand end, so that it, if you need to tuck it under something, it will tuck in under without covering up your words. So that's quite different. I like that. And then that will sit up like that. It's not quite stuck down there. Needs a little bit more glue under there. So that didn't take too long. It has been an hour actually. That's okay. I thought it would take that long. My bow's sticking out. I shall put the embellishments on later. I'm just going to use rhinestones. Thanks, Diane. Love the card in the box, plus it makes a nice presentation. I think we'll be making one later afternoon. Lovely. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for your time. I shall put my embellishments on later. I've kept you long enough. I'm just going to do some little rhinestones, the basic rhinestone jewels, which I've got lots of tiny ones left, so I shall use lots of them. But give that a go. It's not that difficult. This is the only bit, and even that's not difficult. It's just folding. Just make sure you ignore my first little bit of the video where I put my base on the wrong way. I forgot to score my easel, but I'm sure you'll work it out. So that's that card, and that's my other one. So we've got two. I do like making birthday cards, or just for you. This is a birthday one. This one I've got the happy birthday on the inside. I think you can see those okay. I'll just flip those up like so. Flip them around, and that's it. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Thanks, Christine. Thanks, Carmel. Give it a go. It's not too difficult. Thanks, Wendy and Nerida. Jenny, elegant. Thank you. I shall see you all again next week. We'll have probably a lot more simpler one next week, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Have a lovely week and stay out of the heat. If you're in Australia, bye for now.